Greetings and blessings, my brothers and sisters in Christ. My name is Robert. I am the host of the I Am Matthew podcast, where we talk about walking out our Christian faith and trying to be in the world, but not of the world. Hey, I am so excited. I know I say that every week, but I really am. I'm so thankful and blessed that you decided to come and check out this podcast, come and check out us walking through Revelation, because I know that this is a book that trips a lot of people up. Especially for those that are, they've self-destructed their lives, they're looking for hope, they're starting to get into God's word, and maybe this is something that, Revelation is very overwhelming. It's probably the most overwhelming book of the New Testament. And I promise you, like I have said, I've been saying, we're walking through Revelation. I don't know how many podcast episodes this has been so far of Revelation, but we are only in chapter 8, and this is a 22-chapter book. Of course, then again, the chapters weren't, this is a long scroll, and we have things that we want to go. I want to get through everything. And I also want to say this: if you have any questions, comments, if there's things that we need to go back and go over, please, put it down in the comments. Please send me an email, robert@iammatthewministries.org. I would love to just have your takes and thoughts on stuff. So anyways, we are going to be in chapter 8. So we are going to talk about the seventh seal, which there really isn't much talked about the seventh seal, but there is quite a bit that we can talk about. And then we're going to talk about the first 4 of the 7 trumpets. So we are going to go through the last seal, the first 4 trumpets, and we're gonna read on some commentary. There was a lot of stuff that hit me when I was preparing for this, and I just want to share it with you. So let's start out. Revelation chapter 8, verse 1. It says, "When he opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And then I saw the 7 angels who stand in the presence of God. 7 trumpets were given to them. Another angel with a golden incense burner came and stood at the altar. He was given a large amount of incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar in front of the throne. The smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints went up in the presence of God from the angel's hand. The angel took the incense burner, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it to the earth. There were peals of thunders, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake." Okay, so we're going to stop there because this is the last of the 7 seals. Okay, we've went through the first 6 seals, and now here we are. We're talking about the 7th seal, and then of course I'll go back and we'll read the first 4 trumpets. But so the first thing I see is he says when he opened the 7th seal. This is John talking. When the Lamb that was slain, Jesus, opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. Now, if you walk past that, and I've done it so many times, trust me, I've done it. I've walked past that and thought, oh, okay, well, there was silence in heaven for about a half hour. And then, first of all, like I said, I didn't really think about that. But then the more I focused on that, half an hour, okay? I would challenge you this week to go find a time where you can go and be silent for half an hour. And I'm going to tell you this. It's going to your mind is going to race. Things are going to get, heavy on you. But try to find a time where you could go and spend about a half hour in complete silence. Don't say anything. I want it quiet. Just have it quiet for a half hour. And you're going to realize this is what I started thinking about. The fact is that we've been reading the first 7 chapters, and there is guys that are falling and throwing their crowns at the feet of God. There are angels singing holy, holy, holy. There are elders singing holy, holy, holy. There are multitudes, nations upon nations, singing holy, holy, holy. And when Jesus cracks that 7th seal, all of it goes silent for a half hour. No worship. No flinging their crowns at the feet. It's like that moment when somebody on the football field gets injured and you're looking and you're waiting for it and the crowd hushes because all they want to see is him get up. Nobody's paying. Nobody's looking around. Nobody's chit chatting with their buddies. They're all looking at the field, and they're wondering, and they're waiting. This is a little different. Jesus, because think of, there were 7 seals on this scroll that he has that was wrote on the front and the back that we talked about. Could be the title deed to earth. I think it's the last will and testament of God. And I think they went silent for a half hour because wait a second. No longer is there a seal binding this scroll. It's the end. It's the last seal he has to open. And they sat there and they watched with anticipation. Our King, our Lord Jesus, has broke the 7th seal, and he is literally on the precipice of being able to pronounce the last will and testament of God for earth, for humanity. It's not God's eternal. He's got plenty of will and testament left. He's got an eternal will and testament left. But as far as earth is concerned, as far as this place is concerned, this is the final seal. And then, so he said, then after that, then I saw the 7 angels who stand in the presence of God. And who are these angels? I don't know. I know that old Jewish say that there are seven angels that stand before the presence of God, and this seems to confirm it. But 7 trumpets were given to them. Now, I know that in my mind, when I think of trumpets, I think of those medieval movies where the guys start playing the trumpets to announce something, that something is coming, that there is a proclamation about to be held. And so these 7 trumpets were given to them. So then another angel, this is a different one, with a golden incense burner, came and stood at the altar, and he was given a large amount of incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints. So again, the saints' prayers are coming up, and they're being given to God with incense. And I don't know if this is happening during that time of silence. And I would like to think it is. I like to think that God stopped worship for a half hour, and he heard us. And I thought about this. What prayers is he listening to right now? And then it came to me. The prayers that he's listening to right now is that prayer that you had. Why did it have to be this way? Why did I have to make such a bad mistake? Why? Why did she have to die? Why did he get to live? Why is she going through this and I'm not? Why, God? Why? Why are there so many whys? Why does innocent children have to die? Why is innocent children being sold into slave trades? Why? Why is there so much hurt in this world? Why? God, will you do something about it? Will you stand for us? Will you fight for us? Will you make things right, God? Why? Why does it have to be this way? I think those prayers are what's being offered to God right now. That genuine heart of hurt, that genuine heart of not understanding what's going on. I think at this moment, when heaven is silent for about a half hour, I think he hears it. I think he's hearing all those prayers collectively with the incense, whatever prayer you're offering up right now in whatever season that you're in. At this moment, he hears it. He's hearing it. And he's listening. Nothing else. He's not listening to anything else. He's not listening to the angels singing his praises. He's not listening to the elders fall at his feet. He's not listening to anything. He's listening to those prayers. It's not like he isn't hearing them now. What I'm saying is he's bringing them to his remembrance. He's bringing those hurts to his remembrance. And he's reminding, I think he's getting reminded what this is all about. I think he's letting us know, look, what's about to happen, all those whys, all those things, all those hurts, all those things you can't understand what's going on, I'm about to make it right. The angel took the incense burner and filled it with fire from the altar. That consuming fire leaves nothing left. And hurled it to the earth. And there were peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and earthquake. It's like God saying, here's your answer. He filled it. They took the incense burner, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it towards the earth. God's saying, look, I'm not going to keep these prayers, these why prayers unanswered any longer. He goes, they're going to be fulfilled right now. And he made him hurl it towards the earth. And there were peals of thunder, rumbling, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. And it's God saying, look, I've always been in control. I've always been in control of the thunder, the rumblings, the flashes of lightning, the earthquake. I've been in control of it all. I'm in control. I'm in control. He's in control. I want you to know that no matter what you're going through right now, I want you to know that he's in control. I want you to know that those prayers that you don't think are being answered, if you are somewhere and you have self-destructed your life and you're without hope, and you say, man, he's not answering my prayers, I want you to know there's still hope. There's still hope. He still hears it. And there is a judgment day reserved for it, where he will answer that prayer. It says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay. It says that plenty of times in the Bible. Vengeance is mine, I will repay. You know, I want you to know he's there. He sees you. He loves you. And this is just telling you, look, I hear you. And at one point, those why questions are going to be answered. And there will be silence in heaven as I listen. And everybody looks at me in silence, waiting to see what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hear those prayers. And I'm going to act. So then we move on to the 7 trumpets. So I'm going to read verses 6, go to verse 13, and then we'll come back and talk through it. It says, the first angel blew his trumpet, and hail and fire mixed with blood were hurled to the earth. So a third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. The second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain ablaze with fire was hurled into the sea. So a third of the sea became blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Third trumpet. The third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from heaven. It fell on a third of the rivers and springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood, and a third of the waters became wormwood. So many of the people died from the waters because they had been made bitter. The fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened. A third of the day was without light, and also a third of the night. I looked and heard an eagle flying high overhead, crying out in a loud voice, "Woe, woe, woe to those who live on the earth, because of the remaining trumpet blast that the 3 angels are about to sound." Yeah. So we're going to go through this a little bit at a time. First trumpet. So God is saying, look, I'm ready to pronounce judgment, and here it comes. Angel blows the first trumpet. Hail, fire mixed with blood hurled to the earth, and a third of the trees was burned up, a third of the earth, and all of the green grass. So this is the one thing that he says is gone on the earth, is all the green grass. I was driving down the road the other day, and I looked at all that green grass, and I said, man, it's all going to be gone. All of it. I look outside now, all of that green grass, it's going to be burned up. And then God says, a third of the earth and a third of the trees. So I see that a third of the vegetation is going to be destroyed. So I want to go. I'm going to go through these kind of very vaguely, and then we'll come back, and I swear I'll tie all this together. So the second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain ablaze with fire was hurled into the sea. A third of the sea became blood, a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships. So we see this something like a great mountain ablaze. Okay. So I know that there are speculations as to what this is, and I was pretty kind of shocked when I looked at the theologians, and they all said, "Well, this is probably like a meteor. A meteor came, was set on fire, and it got hurled into the sea." That's all well and good, but when we go to verse 10, we go to the third trumpet. He says, "A great star blazing like a torch fell from heaven." If it was just another meteorite, why didn't he say a great star blazing like a torch fell from heaven? Why wouldn't he say that? Why would John's language change? Okay? And here's the thing. John has never been one to, people can say that this is symbolic and there's a lot of symbology. John has never been one to mince his words. If you look at John, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, he never minced his words. He never watered them down. He said, look, in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. He's like, look, Jesus was God. God became flesh, or the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory. Okay? He didn't mince his words there. If you walk in the light, if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with him. If we say that we have no sin and we walk in dark, if we have no sin, we are a liar and the truth is not in us. That's not mincing his words, okay? This isn't, I'm sorry, but I have a really hard time thinking some of this stuff is just symbolic language, that it's just great poetry. I'm sorry. This is what I believe, okay? I'm gonna put a picture up on the screen. This is not my picture. I don't know who to really credit for it, but man, this is a great picture. So, and you may say, okay, well, Robert, what's that? What is that? So, I believe that this great mountain of blaze. Okay, so first of all, we got to look at the context. Okay, I'm not gonna put that picture up just yet. I'm gonna hold off for just a second. When we have to look at a great mountain, okay, there are going to be things I think John's seeing the future, okay? I think John is seeing something either right now or in the not too distant future, okay? And I'm telling you, the face of this world looks a whole lot different than it did in John's day, okay? There are things like the Statue of Liberty. How would he even think of that? It would be because he'd know that he would think that God created it. If you would have opened John up right here, right now, before Revelation in this world, and say, hey, John, describe that to me. He's going to say, like Statue of Liberty, he's going to be like, man, that God created something out of the heavens. God created an image out of the heavens. Or he's going to say, look, I know what that is. I've seen statues. That's just a huge one. I don't know how it's possible for them to build one that big. So when we see something, he says, like a great mountain. Okay? Now I'm going to put that picture up. So in my mind, I believe that mountain I think it's a building. I think it is a building. And to just see if I was right, because it says hurled into the sea, okay? The only real sea that John would have known about would have been the Mediterranean Sea. He was on the island of Patmos. I know that there's also the Sea of Galilee, but that was more like a big giant lake. The Mediterranean Sea would have been what he would have understood as a sea. So I was like, okay, are there any structures that could resemble large mountains? And I looked, and there were plenty of cities along the sea that had great giant buildings. And then I saw this picture, and it captured me for some reason. I think it captured me because it's one tall building and there's mountains on either side. And I think about this, and I'm like, if I would have woke up and never have seen a building in my life, and all I would have known is natural things, what would I have called that? And I thought, I would have called that a mountain. Looking at the two things behind it, I mean, it's a little more cylindrical. It's a little more, up and down instead of there's no sloped sides. It's more up and down, but it's a mountain. It's a mountain. And he says it was ablaze with fire. Now, who knows? And I'm not saying, okay, first of all, I'm not saying that that's it. I'm not saying that's the building that is talked about here in Revelation 8, chapter 8. That's not what I'm saying. I simply wanted to know if it was possible that there was a structure that was by the Mediterranean Sea that John could have seen ablaze getting hurled into the sea. And there are. And this one just captured me because it literally shows a building and two mountains behind it. So you could say, look, it's not without, because you think about it, okay. You may say, well, that's not what a mountain looks like, Robert. Okay. Maybe he didn't have the word mesa. Okay. But you think about it, there's mesas in Utah that have those, look like cylindrical mountains. They're straight up. What would he call that? Okay. He doesn't know what a mesa is. So his idea is a mountain. Okay. And that's why I think it says something like a great mountain, ablaze with fire, was hurled into the sea. So a third of the sea became blood, a third of living creatures in the sea died, a third of the ships died. A third of our water resources is going to be gone. Third trumpet. Angel blew his third trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from heaven. Hey, look, he knows what a great star blazing like a torch is. Fell from heaven. It fell on the third of the rivers and springs of water. Okay, now we're talking about our water supply. The name of the star is Wormwood, and the third of the waters became wormwood. People died from the waters. So a third of our drinking supply is now gone. Then the fourth trumpet blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, a third of the stars, and a third of them were darkened. A third of the day was without light, and a third of the night. Now, I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what a third of the sun means, a third of the moon, a third of the sun, the stars. Third of them was darkened. I don't know what that means. I know that Jesus referenced that in the day of the Great Tribulation that the sun would not give off as much light. I don't know what that looks like. Okay, I don't know what, but I know that to me it's symbolizing that there is going to be a definite sign in our day-to-day activity that God is pronouncing judgment. And then, of course, we hear the eagle flying high. And then again, too, some manuscripts also call this an angel. More than likely, probably an angel, but I have no idea. And he cried aloud, woe, 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 to those who live on the earth because of the remaining trumpet blasts that the three angels are about to sound. And you think, well, man, Robert, that stuff was already bad. It was. And more's to come. So now I want to read you this commentary. I want to read this. So again, this is coming from the Enduring Word Commentary, and this is the observations on the first four trumpets. He says, these first four trumpets reveal the severity of God's judgment. He attacks all the ordinary means of sustenance, such as food and water, and he attacks all the ordinary means of comfort and knowledge, such as light and the regular rhythm of days. Man has come to see these aspects of the created order as impersonal, perpetual forces. You know that stuff's coming up. You know it's coming down. And I think, honestly, we just get numb to it. We can't see God in it because guess what? It happens each and every day. And you know what? Man, shame on us. Shame on us that we can't look at nature. We can't look at the sunrise, the sunset, and say, God, thank you. Thank you for bringing me another day. Because guess what? There's a day coming where a third of the day is not going to come. A third of the night is not going to come. A third of the stars are going to be gone. He says, during the Great Tribulation, God proclaims his lordship through their agonizing disruption. We know that great humility will come upon men in the midst of something like an earthquake, because they know that nature is not as reliable as they had been thought. With these four trumpets, that effect will be multiplied greatly. They are. All of a sudden, this world that we take for granted, a third of it's going to be gone. A third of all the natural things that we rely on is going to be gone. You think it's pandemonium because, they ran out of toilet paper at Walmart? What are we going to do when a third of the trees are gone? A third of the earth is scorched, okay? And a third of, or all of the grass is gone. The water, the ships, the drinking water, third of it, gone like that. And then he says, the first 4 trumpets also reveal the mercy. I want you to focus on this, the mercy of God's judgment. These are partial judgments striking only 1/3, and are meant to warn and lead a rebellious world to repentance before the final curtain. For now, God spares more than he smites. Man, that hit me in the chest. I've read these trumpets tens of times, 20, 100 times. Never did I look at the fact that, while he did take a third right then and there at the top, he took off a third. It was a warning shot. It was a warning shot. You know what a warning shot is? A warning shot's when somebody fires a shot that says, hey, stay away. That's a warning shot. God is giving a warning shot saying, look, come to me. It's about over. He is prolonging this, okay? Some people, when they talk about these seals and trumpets and the bowls, they don't know if they're sequential, if it happens just like it says in Revelation, seals, trumpets, bowls, if it's all happening together, the first seal, the first trumpet, the first bowl all together, or what. But here's the deal. If it is happening sequentially, the seals, then the trumpets, because you think about it, one of the seals was people being able to see God in heaven, God coming on a cloud. And you know what? He's still prolonging that time. He's saying, look, I am starting to reveal myself, okay? And you're not liking the way that I'm revealing myself because I'm revealing myself as in judgment. I have given you the nice way of Jesus to say, come to me as a child. Now I'm going to have to reprimand you for still being disobedient. Come to me. Come to me. Yeah, maybe your house got scorched, but guess what? There's still time to come to me. You know what? All your green grass in your front yard's gone, but yes, come to me. Look, whatever's going on in your life, God's saying, look, there is still time. Come to me. I want to show you mercy. I'm showing these people, if you come to me now, you'll be in the rapture. I'm just going to show mercy. I'm showing this mercy to people that have thumbed their nose at God, that have seen me and they still thumb their nose and they yell at me and they scream at me. I'm showing the mercy. He's sparing more than he's spining. He's sparing more than he's striking. So I want to leave that with you. I hope that this has brought you some hope. Just know that while everything may seem like it's getting turned on its head, I want you to know that Jesus sees you and he loves you. Hey, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks for listening, and God bless.